Hello, friends. Hello, hello. Welcome to Craft Your Joy Live. I'm Lisa Hetrick. Good morning, friends, or good evening. It depends on where you are. I'm so glad to be here with you today. It is super windy outside, which kind of delayed me from going live for like 2 seconds because of how loud it was and the noise. But I am here and I'm super excited for our tutorial number 2 in the holiday series. I see many of you popping in, and we were chatting in the chitty chat before I went live. So hello everyone, and I see everybody in the chat over here. Okay, today I'm glad everybody's looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this. I did not pre-plan anything today other than I have made some die cuts and I have cut some pieces for us to kind of keep things moving along because we're going to do 2 projects today. So let's just get into it. This is the second video in the holiday series, and we're going to do a Christmas theme, and we're going to do a Thanksgiving gratitude themed one because y'all asked. So that's what we're going to do. Let's just go ahead down to the down camera. Oops, let's get rid of this. That's the, the keyboard. Let's move that along. Okay. So last week, and we've got that in the way too. So hello, lots of things in the way. Last week, I shared this oversized card. Last week we did an oversized card for the first in the holiday series. And then I also shared this card as an adaptation of the holiday basket that we made, the Christmas basket, into this colorway and theme for Thanksgiving in our season of gratitude. Oh, Tania is just getting her paints to paint along. Oh, we're going to be painting on the second project. So I do want to walk this project out. This is we're going to walk through, I'm still using the 2 die sets, the Basket of All Seasons winter set and the Basket of All Seasons basket set that was newly released with Gina K Designs. We're going to be using these today to do like a die cut intensive project for this gratitude season. And I want to talk about this like little license plate piece. So we're going to be doing a lot of just die cut pieces, a little chatting and some blending to kind of create this card. Really easy going. And then the second project, we talked about this last week, is inspired by this tag. We're going to do a tag project, friends, but everything is, I'm going to say like naked right now. So everything's been die cut and everything is on watercolor paper. So we're just going to have some fun and we're going to splash some paint around and create this tag. So 2 projects. Also why I went live a half an hour early because I don't want to bump up against Gina's live. And I wanted to save a little bit of room at the very, very end to talk about this. I talked about it last week. I'm going to open it. We're not going to open anything in it, but I'm going to open it. And I know you probably have seen it open with all of the little envelopes inside, but we're going to get started. We're going to get started on this project. Now, I have done many samples of this project in like different colors and colorways, but we're going to do this gratitude themed oversized card. I'm really digging doing these oversized cards. This is a 5x7 card, so it's an A7 size. I just think it's a really great size for mailing and for giving. Lots of space inside to write something. So if you have this set or a set similar to this, this concept will work, and you can give it out for Thanksgiving and holiday season. Oh, Anna ordered hers. Yay. Okay, let's get started. So I'm using craft cardstock. I do have the majority of things that I'm using today listed down below in the description, meaning the stamps, the big things like the dies. The finite little pieces like the colors of the cardstocks, I'll be adding that shortly after, because I didn't know what they were going to be till this morning. So that's very cool. Okay, everybody's sharing that they've got the die set, so that's kind of fun. All right, we're just going to go really easy breezy and get this layer on here. Now, I have hesitated. We're not hesitated. We can do a little bit. We can share a little bit in this stamp set, in the Season of Joy stamp set. You know, we have the stencil. What should I cut out for today's project? Oh, Tanya. Okay, let's leave this on here. So if you're doing this project along with me, wow, that's awesome. So we're cutting out the basket elements, and I'll walk through all those dies. We're cutting out the basket elements, and I've got like the top, the two parts of the basket, and we're cutting out, I cut out all of the poinsettia pieces, the berries, and the sprigs, the leafery. So you are basically cutting out all the basket pieces that are there, and this little piece, these two pieces right here. So one of the things I wanted to share, let's see, in the Season of Joy stamp set, we've got the stencil, and we've got this background piece right here. And I thought about doing a little backgrounder behind this as we layer. So I've kind of hesitated a little bit because it is kind of like a star background. But you know what? I think we're going to do it, friends. And if you're cutting along, or you're doing this project along with me and you're using this time to die cut, also, you know, doing this part of the card will give you a little bit of time. Also, in the chat, if you do projects alongside me, other than our watercolor projects, I'd love to know that, because I can, if I have things pre-prepared, I can kind of give you a heads up of what you might need to cut. So it's kind of like a tutorial alongside. Okay, I may regret doing this background, but you know what? Here's the deal. If I do the background and I don't like it, I'm just going to flip to the other side. So I think what I want to do is I want to add this little star piece, star pattern, kind of like to the background, so that we have just a little bit of pattern behind here. I may or may not like it. I'm not sure. I can visualize it in my head. Oh, good. Anna just shared that would be nice. Okay, that's great. I have an idea in my head, but sometimes, Pam, that's a great idea, like turning it on its side. You saw me kind of flip it. So maybe we'll do that. We'll turn it on its side for a different look. I need to grab some tape, which is right behind me in the drawer. So let's just grab the tape. And let's just wing it, friends, because this is live and we're going to do this. All right, I'm going to tape down this piece of cardstock. This is cut to a 4x6, and this is Barely There cardstock from Gina K Designs. I love Barely There because it's barely there. It's a beautiful pink. We know that I'm going to want to do this kind of like in this top third. So let me see. I have Innocent Pink here. We're going to see. I don't have the Barely There ink, which would have been nice because I could do like a tone on tone. But I'm gonna do Innocent Pink, and let's go rogue. Pam's right. You're right. You can do. I can always flip it to the other side, right? If I don't like this, we're gonna flip it to the other side. Okay. All right, friends. I'm just gonna tape down. I should have brought in my sticky mat. I had it in my hands too, but then I got distracted. This is not centered. Good on ya, Lisa. You got it right off center. So we're just going to eyeball it. And the way I'm eyeballing it right now is that I'm looking at the distance between that point and that edge, and just kind of eyeballing it. let's give it a whirl. All right, I'm gonna pick up, I've got my blending brushes, my little detail blending brushes I love. This is Innocent Pink, and I'm just gonna go really gently across the Barely There cardstock and just kind of softly with the color. Let's see how I like it. Let's see what we like. If we don't like this pattern, I may not pursue it. So let's just see. Oh, I kind of like it. I kind of like it. So if we can visualize a little bit of what that might look like, excuse me, I think that might be lovely. I think it might be lovely. We're gonna pursue. We're gonna go to the next row. So this pattern on here is designed so that you can create a repeat pattern. So you could line it right back up and create, you're shifting it over. So you could go down and then you'd have a little bit of a big hole. But if you take the pattern and you shift it over, you can create the repeat. And I'm kind of eyeballing it here. It might be a little bit wonky, but whatever. Card is made by Lisa Hetrick. Card is not made elsewhere. Okay, let's just keep going. Let's keep going, friends, because I'm trying to get a lot Jamie jam packed into this day. So this first project is predominantly just dyes and blending. And again, not a super expert at all of these techniques. See how the pattern kind of repeated? Yeah, I'm digging it. All right, let's move this over. So I would shift this way. So it's a little bit wonky. Oh, friends, I have got to get those readers. Flying blind. Oh my goodness. Okay, super fun. Super fun to be here with you today. Last week, you all had shared with me that you wanted to do the this card. Wanted to do this card, and it's become pretty popular. Like, a lot of people are asking me for showing how to do it. So I was like, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, I like how this is kind of a little bit off-centered. So I'm kind of digging it. Yeah, Pam, wonky is good. It's a good thing because mostly everything I do is wonky. Mostly everything I design is wonky, or things are just a little bit off. And that's okay. All right, I'm digging it. We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna leave it, but I'm not gonna commit to gluing it yet. In case I change my, actually, I either have to commit or not, because we're going to start to build all of our other layers on top of it. So let's just do what I call a non-committal commit. So I'm going to pop this on here and just kind of take a look at how I think I might like, if I might like it. And I think I do. Even though the star pattern has a little bit of a Nordic kind of look to it, turning it sideways was a really good idea, Pam. And I think it kind of changes, it changes the direction of the design. All right, I'm getting nerdy. I can feel the nerd coming out. So we have this very vertical direction happening with the basket because of the detail on the top of the basket. But then we take that pattern in the background and go horizontally, and it kind of creates a different rhythm for the design. Also creates a little pop of extra texture and dimension versus this, which is lovely, but it's a little flatter. So thank you, Pam, for the recommendation. Let's move on. I'm going to commit. We're going to commit to the glue. All right, I got the glue here. Committing. Okay. Trying to grab the tape. Here we go. All right, I've got the adhesive here. I am going to use a little bit of this adhesive on the back until it runs out, because you can see I over-adhese. I don't even know if that's a word. Over-adhese. I add too much adhesive. Let's go ahead and lay this down. There we go. And I'm an eyeballer. I eyeballed it. If you want things to be straighter, I don't have it. It's over there. I got that little Gina KT square that's perfect for making sure things are lined up. Okay, now we're just going to start to build. But as we're building, I think I'm going to add a little bit extra color, just a little bit, because, you know, I'm challenging myself to do a little bit more blending and getting a little more experience doing that. So I've got this ink. I've got two inks here, Craft and Warm Cocoa. This is craft paper. Now I cut the die. Remember, this die for the basket is a pocket, what I call a pocket die. So when it cuts in two pieces and it has a score line here. You fold it over and it comes into a pocket. I cut the piece off so that we're really only using it as an embellishment, because it is going to lay flat on the card and we're not trying to pop a gift card inside. So I'm going to try this Warm Cocoa. Look, I haven't even opened it yet. I just got it. And I haven't even taken the little plastic sticker things off the side. So let's go ahead and do, whoa, this one's a stubborn one. Okay, well, let's try the other side. And then we'll go from there. So, has anybody started creating holiday cards or projects as I struggle to pull off this little tiny piece of tape? There we go. I have not. I've only created the things that I have recently shared, which, you know, they're beautiful, so I'm probably going to use them. Okay, let's take a peek at this Warm Cocoa. And I don't want to go, like, I'm looking around here because I kind of want to see if I like this color or if it's going to be too dark. I'm just going to go rogue. We're just going to do it. Hi, Gloria. We're just going to go for it. And I'm just going to add just a smidge of blend around my edges and just kind of soften into it a little bit, just to add a little. And the reason why I'm doing this one on this particular die cut is because I want, I just kind of added a bunch there. I just really want this to pop off a little bit. Everybody's just saying, yes, they've started working on their cards a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I don't mass produce cards. I do make a lot for, you know, the work that I do, and I end up using them. So I kind of have some fun with that. I think I might have just gone a little bit too overboard with this color, but we'll see. Still working on Thanksgiving cards. Pam, yes, these cards that I'm making with you all are, I need to grab my wet towel, are, you know, we host Thanksgiving, which is literally like 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks away. We host, and we do a lot and it's fun, but I also do like to give a little something to our guests. So these cards that I've been making are going to be really fun for that. All right, I think I'm going to like this, because once I lay that over, I have a little bit of color definition between that basket that was in craft and the craft card set. And I think I'm going to like this. This is kind of detouring out in a different direction than I thought it was going to. But hey, we're live, so we're going to do that. I want to do that. Let's just get this glued down. Just because once you glue down those first couple things, right, you're committed. So, committed or need to be committed, one or the other. Here we go. All right, let's pop this down. It definitely pops. So that was Warm Cocoa versus using craft. I like it. I like it a lot too. Okay, before we're going to pop this on, Now here is the rope detail for the basket. Now I definitely want to show you something about that die. When I designed the die, I built in, this is, yeah, okay. I'm going to use some of that warm cocoa. I built in these score lines that create a little bit more rope-like texture into the die. So when you add a little bit of color to it, it kind of makes them pop a little bit. Sort of. Yes, it does. Holding this, I should have. Lisa, your instinct to bring the sticky mat in and putting it down, which is par for the course of what you usually do, start doing something and then squirrel, right? All right, I'm digging that. I like this little bit of extra, adding a little bit of detail, digging that warm cocoa. Tanya says, I very rarely mass produce cards except maybe the Better Press. Oh, I've never experienced the Better Press. The Better Press. I love it though. I've seen it. Convince me, friends. Convince me in the chat that it's something I need. Right? I think it's pretty cool. Like, I love all these extra little things, the details, doing like the different foilings and the different embossings and all the different things that are out there. It's just so cool. So, all right, we're going to tuck this under. See how just a little tuck under the edge, just to kind of build this. So, oh, I am kind of really digging this, and I'm not regretting the pattern in the back at all. I think it's just kind of adds a little bit of whimsy to the whole thing. Okay, now let's take a peek. Let's go over the dies. Oh, Anna's saying I would definitely love it. Probably. Got a little something on my shirt here. I got a scarf on. I'm freezing. What's our temperature? 49 degrees outside. You wouldn't know. It feels a lot colder. And I think it's because of the wind. So I'm going to take this die. I'm not going to add any color to the basket weave portion of the die. I'm just going to add a little glue and we're just going to pop it on. This basket weave was so fun to design and also just kind of fun to conceptualize with Gina. So, oh, Tanya said, you love the debossed crisp line art it produces to color. Oh, I bet you I would. Oh, I bet you I would. Okay. All right, going to pop this on. And this goes edge to edge and fits perfectly. And you just kind of hold this down for a second. I think I design a lot of things, and every time, like every month, I always say it's like my new favorite, and it totally is, because we're designing things so like far ahead. You kind of forget about them, and then when they come out, you're like, ah, it's like Christmas all over again. Okay, I'm gonna put the basket top pieces on, and I've got the two pieces here. The top here, let's just pop these out. You could pop those out if you want or not. I'm not going to worry too much about, I cut the wrong color. This is Innocent Pink. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I really wanted to do it in Barely There because we're going to be covering up the lip of the basket so much that you're really only going to end up seeing a very small end of it. So I'm putting it on. And, you know, maybe when we're finished, we'll see how much shows through. And then that is the Innocent Pink that just kind of might be a nice contrast with the Innocent Pink ink that we did in the background. Okay, let's get this on here. Just laying that on here. Love that. Hold that down for a second. Super fun. Love, love, love. So I know in card, I wanted to talk about like the dies too, like in card making. It's very rare that you'll see me make a card where it's just, I like when the stamps are the star of the show, but with this release, the die cuts have been the star of the show. So it's definitely stretched me and pulled me creatively into thinking different ways to create. And I'm going to say something that might just sound super geeky, but when I do a project, and I don't do that many, I've just started doing some of these projects that are more die cut intensive. I love die cuts. Believe me, I have a silhouette. I like designing my own. I like cutting them out. I've always enjoyed that kind of part of paper crafting. So, hello, Daisy. What I always kind of equate this kind of project to when I was a child doing like paper dolls, right? You had all these different die cut pieces and you would build them to create a scene or a scene or complete the doll shape. So it's just kind of really, it always kind of brings me back to that memory whenever I do a die cut intensive project. Okay, now, super, super fun. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to start, I've got this die right here. So love this die. When I created this die, these little holes pop out. Yes or no. You can pop them out, or when you die cut them, you can kind of leave them in for a little bit of extra texture. Then we've got this debossing here that is happening in the die cut for the veins of the poinsettia. Now, I love this that when we've done this in the barely there here, it's not, it can be a different kind of flower. It can be a amaryllis. It could be any kind of flower you want it to be. So changing up this color palette for a Thanksgiving or autumn theme is just really, really fun. Okay, so we're going to pop this on and then we're going to build around it. And then we're just going to be kind of finished. Now, I'm going to leave this flower as a barely there and pop that on. Thank you, Gloria. Tanya, you being geeky. I know. So friends, I don't intentionally start out my tutorials thinking, all right, how can I geek out? What happens just to kind of give you a frame of reference of what happens in my brain is that I start talking about like either the technique or some sidebar story version of what's going on. And I can hear myself, my brain says, hey, you're getting ready to kind of go off the rails a little bit and be a little bit geeky. So that's kind of how it gets started. All right, I've cut this little die cut in, this is honey mustard, I believe. The wind. I'm going to lay this right here, just right on top. Just hold that for a second. And we're going to I'm going to come in and flank the sides here with these greens. This is Christmas pine, and I absolutely love this color. I think I've got an experiment I want to do, and here's like the geek out part that's getting ready to happen. I'm going to come in with Moonlight Fog. This color in the Gina K line. A couple weeks ago, I talked about some unsung heroes of colors, and I think I said Prickly Pear was like the unsung, beautiful yellow ochreish kind of color in the Gina K line. Thank you, Tanya. Moonlight Fog is another one of those colors that is in my opinion, only an unsung color in the Gina K line. Okay, I need to get this open. There we go. And the reason why I love it, oh, the cardstock is over there, is that it's like a gray green and it borderlines on, here I'm geeking out, friends. It borderlines like on a gray sage color. And I just think it's absolutely beautiful. Now, will it add any detail to the Christmas pine? Because technically I should use Christmas pine and just kind of add a little color to the edges here. But I'm not going to. We're going to use Moonlight Fog and see what happens, right? Because everything about this channel and Crafting Your Joy is about experimenting, right? Okay. Oh, I love this. Look at that. Look at those edges. All it's really doing is it's adding just a little bit of depth to the edges. And that's going to add some really nice contrast up against these die cuts that don't have as much detail. Oh, Stormy Sky cardstock. Oh, I love Stormy Sky. Stormy Sky is another really good one. There's a lot of colors in the Gina K line that I feel are like unsung heroes. Oh, I have Dark Sage here. I think my initial intention when I pulled colors was to do Dark Sage, but I'm really digging the way this Moonlight Fog looks. Look at that. Look at the way that's going to look up against there. Eek! Love it. Okay. Yes, Pam, Christmas Pine. This is the Christmas Pine color. It literally is like that Christmas color. The new Kelly Green that Gina released. Actually, this is Kelly Green. I did one of the pieces of greenery in the Kelly Green. I love that too. But look at that Kelly Green and Christmas Pine together. Oh my gosh. So nice. So nice. Kim says new level of basket making. Yeah. We got new level ignited. Friends, do you all remember Longaberger baskets? Remember when they were a thing? That was like in the 90s. My aunt, I love her to death. My Aunt Lois was a collector, still is kind of, well, she still has many Longaberger baskets, but I went with her once to that place in Ohio where they had the Longaberger town. And it was just wild seeing how baskets get made, seeing how everything gets made. So super fun. Hi, Heather. We had some new people pop in. Hi, Cheryl. No worries about being late. Friends, I started early because we're going to do 2 projects today. And I didn't want to run us into being here for hours. So we're doing the predominantly die cut basket project first. And then we're going to do some washy watercolor because we have to. Because watercolor is life, right? Watercolor is fun. Okay. All right. Now I'm just putting a little bit of foam on the back of these beautiful, look at that color. So it was Christmas Pine with Moonlight Fog added. It definitely gives you that deep, totally opposite of like how color palettes I usually gravitate towards. It's deep, it's moody, but the nature of adding that bit of Moonlight Fog there up against these die cuts that are a little bit more, we're letting the debossing kind of be the star of the show here. It really adds more contrast to the project, to our paper doll, right? As I shared my paper doll story. Oh, Daisy, you got to get this out and play. I can't wait to see what you create. We've got, I think I've got what, maybe like 3 or 4 videos now using this set. I think. Let's see. I'm just kind of nesting this right back here. Oh, I love this. This is so, can you smell the cardamom? Can you smell the pumpkin pie spice? It's definitely got that color, that kind of color vibe going on with it. All right, we're going to add in our greenery, and then we're going to move on because I've I've yammered a little bit too long. So I'm going to give my greenery a little bit of a shave here. Just kind of trim. I love greenery. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, hi, friend. Hello, Lisa, and all my crafty friends from the rainy and wet British Columbia Rocky Mountains. Hello, and welcome. All right, my die cut here got two little holes that didn't pop. So let's go ahead and pop them in the die cut. Look at the intricacy of that. I love it when a design works out. All right. So back to the die cutting. So again, like doing these die cut projects lately have been reminding me of these die cut paper crafting projects have been reminding me of my childhood of making paper dolls. And I just kind of get a little giggle every time, because it is not something that I traditionally do. But this was in this year, I wanted to challenge myself to design and kind of create things that were a little bit different, or just pushing myself a little bit. Try some new things. So how fun is that? It's definitely not my my go-to style, but it's becoming kind of fun for me, and I love it. Let's just add a little, put my little finger down there and hold that down. I've got so many things going on with this design, and we're going to talk about it. So we've got movement going this way. We've got this vertical basket look up this way, and then the horizontal pattern going that way. It just has all the colors are very similar in their temperature. They're warm. Even our color, the Barely There is that Barely There, very, very pale pink, and it can feel like a very cool color on its own. I'm geeking out, friends. I feel it. But when we bring in these other colors that are warm up against it, it warms it up a little bit. It warms it up. Kim just said, "Oh, it brought memories, the accordion paper doll." I remember. Oh my gosh. Tanya, the little double holly leaves die, that is going to be in next week's tutorial, because we're going to be doing a tag series next week. I'll talk a little bit more about that, where we're mashing up the stamps. I promised that we were going to be mashing up the stamps from this year that have said all year long were going to be crucial, or not crucial, we're going to be useful for holiday projects. And that is the violin stamp set and the piano. And we're going to use the holly with those as well. So I'm going to be using that die next week. All right, just going to tuck this in here. Now, I was going to cut this berry out in Innocent Pink, but I decided to do it in the Barely There, and it gives it just a little pop of like tone on tone. And then this one is in the mustard color. I love this color palette. Just adding a little bit of glue. And I think I'm going to pop this up. Let's pop that right there. Okay, cool. Love it. So we got like all these little twiggies and stickies that are just kind of popping out. How are we feeling about the background? The like borderline Nordic style background. I'm still digging it. I'd love to hear what you think. Now, let's move on. I want to talk about these two dies, because I know I'm yammering on. These two dies and their design intention. I call them the license plate dies. So this is the outer edge and this is the base. This cuts. So what it does is it creates a little notch die cut in the license plate so that you can slide in the piece. And then we're going to be able to nest it right there and put our sentiment. So I'm going to grab, this was in the incentive set. Oh, I have forgotten the name. Sorry about that. I'm going to use the gratitude stamp because I love it. And we're going to stamp that right on here. And that's going to be our sentiment. Let's do this in black. I'm looking for my, the background works. Historical wallpaper. Ooh, I love that. I love that observation. Okay. Just getting a little bit of obsidian on my gratitude stamp. Maybe a little too much. Just going to go ahead and stamp that down. Going rogue. A little bit of pressure. Boop. Drop that down. All right, love it. And I think we're almost finished. I'm just going to, this little nameplate piece, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the back. And then we're going to just tuck this up and under, again, for another layer of texture. Up and under the floral. Get under there. Come on. There we go. Just kind of eyeball it to the center. I meant to glue the gratitude piece down, and I didn't. So what's holding it in are the notches in the die. So let me just hold that down for a second. Love it. Okay, let's just quickly finish it off because, all right, we're doing good. We're doing good on time. We're going to run a little bit over the hour. I want to, because we're going to do the Washy watercolor project next. Heather, just love your excitement. I'm glad because sometimes I feel like it's, sometimes I feel like maybe I'm over the top, but life's short. Might as well be over the top, right? All right, I'm going to add a little bit of these embellies, little sequins. I'm looking for my little pokey tool, staring around, looking for the pokey tool. We're going to add them to the center. I can't remember these. There's just iridescent sequins from Gina K. I should write down what they are. I will have them listed in the description afterwards. Whoopsie, I just wanted to pop those 3 in the middle there. And then I'm going to go ahead and just add like 1, 2, let's add some around this piece right here. Kim said this really turned out beautiful. You know what, Kim? It really did. I really wasn't sure, you know, because I made some choices that I could see in my head. Like I could close my eyes and I could see them in my head, but that doesn't always mean that it works out. But I'm really digging the way this came out. I'm really liking the way this came out. I really like just that little tiny bit of sequins there, and it just kind of helps pull together the Nordic background too. I'm loving it. Loving it. Oh, Heather says, Heather says never change. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Gloria. Daisy, no way. Your motto is joy. It is craft your joy. So yeah, absolutely show it. Friends, life is way too short, right? Life is way too short. And we're all faced with so many bonkers like things that we need to carve out time for joy. We absolutely do. All right, here's the original. Kind of okay. Like, here's the original. Flat, right? Beautiful, beautiful layer of die cuts, but a little bit flat. Here it is, jacked up. Here's the concept, jacked up, added more color to the design. We've got the background and that moonlight fog. Moonlit fog. Friends, I think that's the winner. It's the absolute winner. I also changed the green here. This green was not jelly bean green. It was grass green. And this is Kelly green. And I like grass green too because it's a little more of a yellow green. But I'm digging this. All right. I'm liking the way this looks. Here's this project. Love it. All right, let's move this aside somewhere. Find a spot. Now we're gonna go in. I love the jacked up version. Me too. I need to tidy up a little bit. Let's move some things around because for the next project, I used the. Let's make sure I don't have any schmutz on here too. Let's de-schmutz and clean this up a little bit. We're going to do the next project is inspired by this tag that I did with the Season of Joy stamp set. But this time, we're going to do it with die cuts, the naked die cuts. And we're going to do some watercoloring, friends. So I don't know how this is going to play out. Like, I know that normally when I do die cuts, and I want them to be like washy watercolor-y die cuts, I will create a piece of patterned paper. And I had a piece here somewhere to show you, but I don't see it. You know, create some backgrounds in watercolor, which I think about maybe 4 or 5 videos back on the channel, I did a whole tutorial on creating washy watercolor pattern backgrounds for your die cuts. And we could have done that today, but I didn't really, I was worried about time. So we're going to, we're going to make a tag. This is the tag, the arch die that's part of the Basket of All Seasons set. This is the tag that you can fit a gift card onto if you'd like, but we're going to use it as a traditional tag today. Also, this tag was from the tag trio from Gina, which I absolutely love. It's a little bit bigger, but if you have that, it's actually the same size, a little bit bigger. If you have that die, you can easily do this concept, and you can easily do this concept with any dies in your stash. Have you die cut them in watercolor paper? Yes, Tanya, everything here has been die cut from watercolor paper. And I used my favorite. Can anybody put it in the chat what my favorite is? Strathmore Ready Cut Watercolor, 100% cotton watercolor paper. So that's what I used. Now, I wanted to figure out what my color palette was going to be for this, but then I was like, we're going to go rogue and we're going to see. I just found 2 palettes that were sitting behind me. When we have the front shot, you can always see like 2 palettes behind me. And I was like, there's some watercolor on here that looks good. Let's use this. So that's what we're going to do. And I'll just talk you through the colors that we're going to do. Now, how am I going to get all my watercolor on all of these die cuts without my die cuts moving? Couple ways. The way I instantly thought of before we went live was, hey, Lise, let's use the sticky mat that I needed from the last project, and I sat it down somewhere. And then I also have this. So if you have in your Gina K stash, if you have the sticky mat stamp sets that Gina has, they're fantastic. You can do that. You just need something sticky to kind of put the die cuts on. This is a gel plate. And I have a smaller one, and I couldn't find it. And you know what? I just now remembered where it was. But I'm not going to go off camera to get it. It's in that drawer. I was looking in a drawer behind me, and it wasn't there. Once upon a time, I really, really loved doing jelly plates. I mean, jelly, like, jelly plate backgrounds, and playing around with them. I don't know. I just really enjoyed doing it. But what I did discover about jelly plates is that they're really nice and sticky, and they'll hold things down for you while you paint. So that's what we're going to do. All right. The colors that are on this palette, I've got pinks, I've got yellows, looks like there's a little bit of orange. And can anyone guess what color that is? My favorite green of all time. We'll see if anybody can guess in the chat. This color right here is like a coral color. It is quinacridone coral, I think, from Daniel Smith. We'll see. We're going to paint this tag in traditional Christmas colors with a twist. Let's do it. Okay. Where'd you get the jelly plate from? Kim, this jelly plate, I think, came from like Michael's or a place like that. I know you can get them there, and you could probably find them on Amazon or probably find them in your local big box store. But that's where I got it from. Quinacridone. Can't spell quinacridone. All right, I've got some water here. Now we're going to do washy watercolor for all of the die cuts. That means paper is dry. Paper is going to be wet. Brush is wet. We're going to paint water all over the surface of the die cut. I'm going to need a bigger brush. Gonna need a bigger boat. Let's get my bigger brush. Bye, Anna. Hugs to your granddaughter. Okay. Gonna get this nice and juicy, this color, and just kind of use up this color on this palette. And then just drop it in and just start dropping it in. I might need more. We'll see. Drop it in, get that little washy look. Let the washy watercolor go in the crevasses of the debossed elements here in this. Love it. I'm just going to go around and just kind of grab a bunch of different colors here and pop some in. And this is just a great way to use up colors that I've had on my palette. And I'm just wet into wet technique. Yes, PM, I can absolutely link it. It might already be down there in the description. If it isn't, there were several supplies that I will afterwards. I'll go back in and relink because I didn't know what I was going to be using till this morning when I started to think it through. All right, just dropping this in, but it's Strathmore Ready Cut Watercolor. You can pretty much look at any video that I have on this channel and you will see it linked because it is something that I absolutely love and use all the time. All right, let's drop this in. Let's add some more of our die cuts. Let's just go on here and add all of my pinky red like die cut elements that I want to do. Here, wet into wet. Brush is wet, paper is wet. We're dropping watercolor in, and as a result, we're just letting the watercolor do its thing. Let's pick up some of this pink over here. Drop it in and let it do its thing. It's definitely super washy. If it gets like too wet and you don't love that, and you want to recover from that. Okay, good. You didn't see it. That means I will go back. I will definitely make sure it's there afterwards. Take a little bit of the paper towel and then you just kind of dip it in the water and see how it sucks it up like a wick. You just can take away some of that wetness if it gets to be too wet. I just had an idea. I don't know if we have enough time to do it. I just had the idea of doing the salting technique on this, but I think I'm going to save that for this because that salt is still right behind me. It was on my desk like forever. I've done the salting technique in a couple recent tutorials, but we're going to do it again today because we're splashing paint around, friends. We're crafting our joy, splashing paint around and having some fun. How many of us are here today? I don't even know. Holy smokes, there's 30 of us here. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. All right, I'm going to go, before we start to like dry these, I'm just going to go a little bit rogue and take a little bit of this yellow and drop it in the center and let it do its thing. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It's working for right now. Okay, now, super, super wet and I want to move on. But I'm really loving the way this colors are super washy. We're not going for like perfection here. We want to see a little bit of the white paper coming through, and we just want to have that feeling of washy watercolor. So let's go ahead and dry this off. I've never dried anything on the gel plate. Hopefully I don't melt it. Let's see what happens. Okay, I don't think I melted anything. I don't think anything got damaged. So let's just take a little bit of a paper towel over here. Take our little die cuts off and let them rest like dough that needs to rest before you bake it. Oh, I'm loving the way these look. Boop. I think we might want to add a little something extra. We can always go in and add a little more color too. So Daisy says, love that, no fear. Again, no fear, mainly because we're live. Why not? Life's too short. Be curious. My whole life, I've been very curious. It's worked in my advantage sometimes, and then not so much sometimes. But just be curious. What's the worst that could happen? It's paper. It's this, whatever this thing is, whatever jelly plate is made out of, some kind of polymer plastic stuff, gooey. So let's have fun. Okay. Tanya, I do have some of the holly. We're going to use the holly and the berries. The berries has this little tiny hole that you can, in the die cut. So in the die cut, there are little tiny debossed elements around the berry. And there's also that little berry hole right there that you can pop. But I'm going to refrain from popping because we're going to be adding watercolor to it. So let's just have some fun and do washy. Ooh, that might not stay down, but we'll see. Let's add, what is this color? This looks like I have no idea what brand of paints are on here or what I use them for in a past project. But I definitely got a little bit too much water there. Okay, friends, while I am painting these, wet into wet, brush is wet, I'm going to wet the paper, and you're just kind of letting the watercolor do its thing. I want to talk about some things, some changes that I'm making. Some of you already know this because you are in my Craft Your Joy Lab. So I have a free community at craftyourjoylab.com, and I launched it last December. And I have made the decision, the difficult decision to close it. So its last day will be December 3rd. Just adding a little bit of pink. No, I don't want this to be pink. Oopsie. I want them to be Cascade Green. So let's just wipe that off and do it again. I've made the difficult decision to close the Craft Your Joy Lab. There are like 150 members in my free community, and I've loved everything about it and building it and engaging with you all in that way. But I have had the price of doing business has gone up quite a bit, and it is something that is just no longer sustainable. So I've made the hard choice to close it. I'm using Cascade Green here, and everyone knows why I love Cascade Green. It's that vintagey, like gorgeous color. I absolutely love. But look at this, how much fun we're having with that. So I've made the difficult decision to close the Craft Your Joy Lab. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to I'm going to divert the efforts that I was making in that community elsewhere. And I'm going to bring it here to YouTube with more frequency. And I'll talk a little bit more about that too. All right, we're going to go rogue, going to go in rogue. And just kind of dry this stuff off. Love it. Loving it. So lots of prayer, lots of meditation, and lots of reflection brought me to that decision. And sometimes downsizing something to pivot in a new way is always kind of exciting. And it wasn't, the community is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Cheryl is here, she's part of the community. I just really had wanted to create a space that was different from social media and ad free, and just focused on watercolor and paper crafting, and just a place for us. However, it is very difficult for all of us to divide our attention in all of the ways in life that we need to do it. And I know that showing up here on YouTube is something that you all enjoy, and you're on my email list, and you find out about my offerings that way. And I think just sometimes simplifying and pivoting is the way to go. So the plan, all right, wet into wet on this last little piece before we move to the background. Just going to get this all nice and wet. The plan is that I'm going to just refocus my attention on more tutorial offerings in our YouTube community, and build this community even bigger. So, yes, I mean, I already do go live once a week, and we have usually 3 paper crafting projects a month, card making, a Gina K release, and we do 1 watercolor project a month. Well, my plan is to bump that up. I want there to be an equal amount of watercolor tutorials that are outside of paper crafting, and that are more technique based. Let me know in the chat if that's something you feel, you're a community member, if you feel that's something that would be welcomed. I think it will. And just kind of do it here in this space with each other, alive, and communicating with each other in the chat. So we have that hour together. And I'm not asking much more of you for you to go to another platform and post and add things. We're just going to find a different way to be in community with each other with the platform here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and dry this. Let me know what you think. Yay, Cheryl. Look at that cascade green. I just love it. Look at it. Look at it. Oh, love it. Okay. Rhonda says, yes, please. Good. I really, really get the sense that you all would really enjoy more of these kinds of things too. Today we're combining it, paper crafting and watercoloring, but as a result, it's kind of taking us over the hour. So everybody's just sharing. I enjoy the watercolor. Love that, Pam. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So, you kind of generally have these ideas of things you think are going to work. And they do sometimes. And then sometimes you just need to pivot. All right, I'm coming back. Look at how washy these are, right? Loving it. Now I'm going to do papers dry, brushes wet, dry into wet technique. I'm going to lift up some of this. I think this is Opera Rose. I'm going to lift up some of that hot looking pink and just kind of do a little layer there. This technique is called glazing, or layering. And when your paper is dry with watercolor, and I've said this a gajillion times, I know, so it's probably repeat information for you. With your watercolor, when you do your first layer, we did very light, skim milky like layers. When we're adding more on top, we let the layer underneath dry completely. Add more watercolor on top, and you get that translucency of the colors underneath. You also get more of a deep saturation of color the more layers you add, and it jacks up the luminosity of the color, which makes it super fun. Oh, Cheryl, landscapes, the waterfall watercoloring. I definitely want to do that one. I know I shared that in the community, so a lot of friends here might not know what that is, but you and I know. You and I know. Jill, what brand of Cascade Green? So this right here, these are Daniel Smith. Cascade Green is a Daniel Smith watercolor. It's my absolutely favorite. It reminds me of my Granny Mac. It's got this 1950s vibe to it, like this turquoisey green. You can see how when it dries, it looks so wild. It's made of multiple pigments, so what happens is you end up getting, it separates and you end up getting a little bit of that ochre color coming through and that turquoise and black. It's just delightful. It's just delightful. Judith just shared what I've learned about watercolor you've learned from me. Oh, that makes me so happy. Daisy loves simplifying things that originally found you on YouTube. So I think more content, fewer platforms. That's kind of how I'm feeling. And I initially created the community because of the lack of knowledge or understanding if you were seeing anything in my social media platforms. I still post there, absolutely. Because, you know, everybody goes there. It's like our bad habit, right? But we do go to our Gina K groups. I spend a lot of time in my groups. I really just found over this last year, and it was kind of an experiment here on YouTube, that this is my place. This is my place, being with you all live and having that interactive communication, and also going live. I just enjoy it so much. And my tutorial style and my nerding and the way I teach kind of lends itself better to YouTube. So drying over the sticky mat is a bit scary. Okay, Tanya, if you are drying over the sticky mat, yeah, just it might, try not to bore a hole through it, right? So just kind of hold it up a little bit higher. All right, friends, we're going to build this tag. Now, I'm making a mental note here that I have learned my lesson over time, that if I don't stamp the sentiment first, I will not leave space for the sentiment. So I'm going to use, for this tag, I'm going to use Joy. See, very similar to this. I'm going to use Joy, and I'm going to stamp it in this lower right corner. So that's going to give me the opportunity to build our design around it and also build our background. Because I'm stamping in obsidian, it's going to be water resistant. It's going to work with our watercolor. I'm going to be able to get water on it, and it's not going to mess it up. Okay. Oh, we love you live too. Yes, YouTube makes it really easy to share with others. Let's get you to 10,000 in 2026. That's so cool. Daisy, I don't even know where I am in my numbers, to be honest. I don't always look at the numbers. I just keep delivering because that's where the joy is for me, being in service that way. All right, I'm going to focus on this lower quadrant, and I'm just stamping it right on here. Actually, this jelly plate really gives you a little bit of couche to get a good stamp impression. So that was something. Thank you, Pam, for subscribing to my email list. You get a little freebie. There's like a bunch of freebies that come when you subscribe. All right, now we know that we're going to just be kind of nesting these embellishments on here, but I want to create, oh, crap. Let's wipe that off real quick. I want to create a background, and I think I want that background. I'm not sure what I want that background to be in, but I know I want some salt involved. So let's go ahead and grab some. It's right behind me. I got a little bit left. It was sitting on my desk for quite some time, but let's go ahead and grab some salt. And I really think I want the background to be a little bit blue. Let's do a blue to kind of contrast with the cool and slightly warm color that we've got going here. So let's see, what kind of blue are we going to do? And I'm going to make it a washy kind of blue. I might need to grab a blue from behind me or grab another palette behind me. Let's see. Let's grab another palette. Hello. Hello. My daughter just came in. Would you like to come in and say hello? Oh, you were?
Yeah, we had it up at work.
let's see. Let's go to the. Let's take off my face. We'll go to the front so you can pop in. You gotta come in. Here she is in her weekly visit. She just got home from work. She's probably gonna go to the gym.
I am, dude.
And then are we gonna try to meet for lunch?
Oh, do you want to?
I would love to.
Heck yeah. My coworker's aunt owns Kismet.
Oh,
I just found out.
Kismet is a local.
Oh yeah, sorry, forgot.
Local bagel place here in Maryland. Let's go back to our overhead cam that we love. And Sydney and I. Oops. Hello. Lost my face. I've been taking Sydney there since she was a little wee pod. Little. We've been going there. It's kind of our place. We used to drop off my son to preschool, and Sydney wasn't quite old enough yet for preschool, so we would go to Kismet. Oh, there's the cat. All right, here is, I just grabbed another palette that was behind me, and this palette of color, Quinny Coral. This is Daniel Smith, because look, there's quinacridone coral, opera rose, but the color I've got right here is, what is this? Way to go. Oh, here we go. Indigo, lunar blue, Maya blue. This is probably like a phthalo blue, and I think that's what I want to use. I want to use phthalo blue. So let's bring that in here. Let's see what everyone's saying. Oh, I love it. Everybody's telling me there were 37 people watching. Everybody's saying hello. Oh, very fun. Okay, we're going to do a wet into wet background here, and we're going to add some salt. So we're going to do some phthalo blue. Can you find out if Kizzy's open?
It is.
Oh, it's open.
Yeah.
Eesh. Okay, perfect. Ooh, my water is really dirty. We're just going to go with it, friends. Look at how I can go over top the Joy in Obsidian with water. See how I just went right over it? My water's super dirty. I actually should have cleaned it, but I didn't. I'm going to take this phthalo blue here. Phthalo blue in every brand is an absolute beautiful color. It is a staining color, so you can see it kind of goes where it's not whooshy, and it's staying where I put it. But the results of phthalo blue with the salting technique are stunning. So I want to just kind of get a nice little bit of color here.
I totally lied.
Kismet is not open.
They are not. So they just updated.
Kismet is not open. They're redoing their floors.
Dang.
All right, we'll find somewhere else. That's pretty. Yeah, looks like it came
Snow.
out really well. So, friends, in the chat, I've been trying to get Sydney to come on with us, but I have to organize it around her schedule too. So, pop in the chat if you would like us to do. Maybe we could. We're doing
Friday.
We're doing holiday projects next week, so we're in the holiday series. Could you do next Friday?
Probably.
Maybe we'll do next Friday, friends, and Sydney can join us.
Or I can just take off work if there's. I don't care.
You don't want to take
don't
off
enjoy
work.
my job.
We can take off work. So everybody's saying hi. Love that blue. Okay. So yes, phthalo blue and the salting technique. I absolutely love doing this because this is going to give us, this might be too much as I'm sitting here looking at it. I'm like, I better stop. I better stop because it might be too much because we're at, or it might not. Let's see. Can always just take some off. Now let's add some salt. So look at the oxidizing that's happening like right away. Love it. This is some Maldon Celtic sea salt that I use in our bread. I've done the salting technique many times. I know all of you friends know. Everybody's saying hi, Sydney. I bet that would be fun. They're asking. Hi, Donna. See you on the replay. No worries. That would be fun. Cards and nails. That's right. Man. She could talk about her nails. Right now. As you can see, my nails are so lovely.
I don't think mine are like black.
Hers are beautiful. She's always, that's her hobby. That's what she's always doing. All right, we're going to heat this up a little bit because we're going to get the salt to oxidize even more. Ooh, and I'm flying a little too close to the sun here. I need to back off. All right. I think if I back up a little bit, someone asked about this palette. What a pretty dish. So friends, this is a dish. I have like 6 of these and I actually use them. Some of them I use as dishes. This is from, it's a stoneware piece from Target, from the Hearth and Hand with Magnolia. And I just put these little foam thingies on the bottom when I use it on glass. But it is the perfect little watercolor palette. It's also the perfect little bread palette. Bread thing. All right, let's get this good and dry. Everybody's saying love with the daughter. Yes, with Sydney. Okay, I got salt all over this jelly plate. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But I think we're done with the jelly plate. And I think we're doing pretty good on time. I expected to go over. So we're doing pretty good on time. All right, let me move the jelly plate out. Bring this back in. Should have guessed Love Magnolia. Me too. Mash up the generations. Yes, Daisy, that's so funny. My daughter's been doing crafty projects with me since she was born. I mean, since she was little, because she would be, I'm getting the salt off of here. It's still a little bit wet, so I'm ending up getting a little bit more on my finger than I want to. But that initial color blast that I was worried about being too much, not so worried now. You can see that it's not as intense. So let's go in and dry it though, really good. Okay, love it. It's got a little crunchy texture to it. So you just kind of rub it until all the crunch comes off. But look at that. It's just, eek! I love that. It's got that wintry vibe to it. That's super nice. Now let's go ahead and add some of these embellishments onto this tag, and let's see what we got, right? We've got this Washy watercolor. Now I want to share in this, if you get this right here, this like hard line, that's because I had a lot of water, very little bit of pigment, and it just, the watercolor goes where the water is. The pigments separate, and it can create a hard blooming line. But look, I can just go back in with the very tip of my brush and feather that out if that bothers you. Sometimes it doesn't bother me. Like, I like it when it creates a little bit more texture. If it doesn't feel like it's adding to the overall design, oh boy, some of the color is lifting. Let's add a little bit of this to it. Just kind of add a little color. The blue background really did come out pretty good. I'm kind of digging it. Just adding. Basically this watercolor technique is we're staining the paper, right? I love this. Love the way this looks. All right, let's start. Let's just commit. We've got our sentiment. I'm going to take some foam. I'm going to add this to the back of this one. This one's still just slightly wet. I initially should try to make sure these things get really dry, but we didn't. Let me get that paper to release. Now, starting off the design, the first piece I put down, I'm committing, and I kind of want it to go off the edge, and I want it to have, see that arc right here? I want that petal to have that relationship with the word joy. So I'm just going to lay that there. And now I'm going to start building all of it. Tanya, great question. Do I dry the blue with the salt in it? Yes, you dry it with the salt in it, and that just even intensifies that staining or that oxidizing of the paper even more. And then at the end, once it's dry, it'll still feel kind of crunchy. You can just kind of run your finger over it. and release the salt. If your paper's still a little bit wet, it's going to end up kind of maybe bleeding a little bit. So try to make sure it's a little dry. Hello, Luann. Okay, I'm going to add this one right here. Just kind of doing a little order of threes. And I think I'm going to pop this one right here. Oh, this is kind of turning out like way better than I thought it was going to turn out. Again, my brain said it was going to look one way, but often, you know, watercolor can be mysterious. It kind of does its thing, and that's what I love about it. So, okay. Again, just kind of super excited about the new year, super excited about some things that are coming up. I am going to be sharing in December during the 12 days of Christmas with Gina K and the unboxing. I am going to be doing, I think, two or more live tutorials with the contents of the stuff that's in the box, friends, which I haven't even looked at yet either. I haven't looked at. I've been waiting for Gina to tell me what my 2 days are, and then I'm going to open it. So the salt technique, I just started looking at doing this. Yay, Luann. I've done this on the channel a couple times, but and I decided at the last minute today that we were going to do it. So that's what we're doing. All right, I am going to, I really want these pieces of holly. I think I want this to kind of, I might not use this. I kind of wanted it to be a part of it. Maybe it's going out the top, but I think I want the holly to be down here and going off the edge. So committing, I'm going to start with the committing of, Luann, you got your box today. Daisy, you got your box today. Oh, you're going to be no peekers, huh? Yeah, I'm a no peeker too. I haven't peeked yet until I find out like which ones I'm going to open, and then create a project with them so that I can share that with you during the 12 days. And I don't know what they are yet. So I'm going to nest this underneath. And I think that's all part of the excitement. There's too many things in our lives that not enough surprises and too many things in our face. So let's have some fun with this. And I love the surprising. And I'm telling you what, friends, and those of you who've gotten your box, it's heavy, isn't it? It's like, that's a box full of goodness. All right, loving that. Look at that. I'm loving the way that looks. I think this might be it, because I think if I add the pine, no, I think it's got to go right there. I'm going to give it a little haircut, like right there, and I'm going to tuck it in. Daisy says I'm going to attempt to fool myself, peek and retape and pretend I didn't. Hey, sometimes if you want to peek, peek. Right? You got team peek, team no peek. That's a scrapbook and cards today thing. If you take any of their classes, you have like a team peek and team no peek. Love that. Okay, I think I really like that piece of greenery right there. But it makes me want to put another piece of greenery over there. And I might do that afterwards. And I might not. I might just leave it because it's kind of cool. All right, let's go in and bring back in some of our sequins. Some of the bags are see-through. I guess they are. I'm going to add a few sequins to this. 1, 2, 3. Let's just add 3 and see where we are. And then go ahead and pop this in. Okay, so friends, next week for our third video in the holiday series, I'll check in with Sydney and maybe we'll do this on Friday instead of Thursday, and do it then. I think I feel like I need to, even though we've got the dots in the center of that die cut. So if you're on my email list, you know I'll be sending that out, and I will also, if you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, you'll get notifications. I think you do. You get notifications when I go live. So super fun. No peeking for me, Rhonda said. All right, I think we're going to call this, no. Kind of want to put a little something in the middle of that joy. Let's just do a little, yep, gotta. I'm going to put a little dot. Just as I was looking up, I saw that. I'm going to put a little dot in the center of that sentiment. That sentiment's joy from the Season of Joy stamp set, my stamp set that came out in September. So if you have that, it also has a coordinating die that I can't seem to find. It's I put it back in the wrong bag. Anyway, I'm digging this. Digging the way this came out. Okay, so 2 projects that we completed today and a whole big mess. So we've got our autumn themed, Thanksgiving, gratitude themed, and then our really sleek, cool holiday themed tag that was inspired by this one that uses the stamps from Season of Joy. So if you have those stamps, you could easily do this technique, especially for that background, that salting technique. Okay, friends. Woo! Oh, Tanya, your salty panel has turned out so cool. I wish I could see that. So if you post that anywhere, tag me or email me and show me. Okay, friends. Oh, I have got a big honking mess here. Thanks so much for joining me today. We had a ton of fun, and I only ran a half an hour over, but that's pretty good for 2 projects. So I will be back next week. Sydney may be joining me if she can fit us into her schedule. And be on the lookout for when that's going to be. It's either going to be it probably won't be Thursday if she's going to join me. It'll be Friday. Or maybe Wednesday. We'll have to talk it out. But I will make sure that I share that information with you all. And yeah, thanks so much for joining me. I'm sending you into the weekend to craft your joy. All of the supplies, some of the supplies are listed down below in the description. I'll make sure I double back and add Pam the watercolor paper, Strathmore Ready Cut watercolor, and make sure I add all the other things that everyone asked for today. Loving these projects. I'm going to photograph them and I will share them in the Gina K Facebook group and in my social media platforms. So, okay, friends, thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next week. Bye now.